Hello, this is Colleen Shoemaker with the League of Women Voters of Portland, and you are watching the Video Voters Guide. We, in conjunction with MetroEast Community Media, are here to talk with candidates running in the May 2020 primary election. With me today is Pat Castles, running for State Representative, District 38. Welcome, Pat.
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
Please tell us a little about yourself and why you're running for this office.
Well, as I said, my name is Pat Castles. I'm running in District 38, which encompasses southwest Portland all the way down to Lake Oswego. It's bounded on the east with the Willamette River. And roughly, it's everything east of I-5, although I actually live on the other side, on the west side of I-5. So that gives you an idea of where I am. I'm a lifelong Oregonian. I was born here and I was raised here. I actually live a few blocks away from where my parents raised me in the Wilson area. I have long thought about the politics of Oregon, but I haven't been as involved title insurance, and I also work for IBM briefly. So basically, my motivation for running is that I've seen the state of Oregon take a fork in the road that I don't think is beneficial or traditional to the state of Oregon. We've gone the road of high taxes, high regressive taxes that have hurt the poor and the middle class, and it affects me, but it affects everybody negatively, and I think we're out of control. There are three pillars to my campaign. One is the tax issue, another is the competency issue, and the third one, I would say, we need to have transparency in state government, and it isn't always transparent. So those are kind of my motivations, and there are other reasons, very personal reasons, not to me, but I'll probably mention that later when we get into some other substantive questions. But anyway, that's kind of where I am today. I have a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Oregon in political science and a Master of Arts degree from the Portland State University in political science also. So that's a little bit of my background and my motivation, and why I think that I can handle the job and do the job that Oregonians expect.
So what challenges have been and will be created by the pandemic to the effective and efficient administration of Oregon state government? And how do you propose to meet those challenges?
Well, there are two competing challenges that the state has to meet. One is the financial challenge, and one is the human toll that the virus takes on Oregonians. And so there's some sort of a balance that Oregonians need to reach on this issue. Primarily, I would like to see the governor stop the cat tax in order to give people a chance to survive, because many Oregonians are not able to get by based even on the $1,200 they may be receiving personally, or other things that are happening in the financial world. It's a major burden, and the way you would fund that would be through the reserves that the state has. We need to take into account the human toll that's going on silently. It doesn't end up in a hospital yet. Suicide and anxiety and other problems develop when people are confined in quarantine and are not able to get out and exercise their mind and their spirit the way Oregonians do.
Traditionally, the legislature has conducted the decennial redistricting process, which will occur next year. Are you comfortable with the current redistricting process? And if not, how would you seek to change it?
What I would like to see is a bipartisan commission formed that would oversee the process. We have the prospect of another congressional seat coming up, and that will make it much more difficult to achieve a fair and balanced process. The worst case scenario would be that this would go into the court system and the courts would decide how things would be done. And personally, I'd like to avoid that. It's not good for anybody to have to go to court to determine fair boundaries for districts and conceivably another congressional district.
What are your thoughts on cap and trade proposals intended to mitigate climate change? Are they a good idea or not, and why?
It's a tremendously poor idea, and I'll tell you why it is. First of all, it will not achieve any climate goal that is set. It will not influence Oregon's climate, even if it's implemented. It's simply a way for left-wing ideologues running the government to align themselves with green parties in Europe. It has nothing to do with actually changing the climate. It does have to do with taxing people, and it's among the most regressive taxes because it taxes individuals for some of the basic things that we use. Energy is important in the transportation of drugs and food and the livelihood of many people. And here's where part of my motivation, I didn't mention this earlier, but part of my motivation was a story that I heard from a woman. It was her life she was talking about. And she said that she and her husband had a small trucking business, as she testified before the legislative committee. And she was told by the state that her husband needed to, or was going to lose his commercial driver's license. And in the process of that, they felt that he was not ill in any way. They claimed that he had a thick neck and that reflected some sort of a sleeping disorder. I believe the wife that he was not sick, but it was their life and their livelihood, as she explained. It wasn't just a job, it was their life. So he consented to an operation that was supposed to solve the problem. And he had the operation, but 10 days later, he died of a blood clot. And as a result, it threatened their business. But the wife was determined to carry on. And so she wants to keep their trucking business going. But as she testified before the legislative committee, she would not survive the taxes that were going to be placed as a result of the cap and trade, because the price of fuel would be so high that she couldn't operate her business. And yes.
Thank you. That's about all we have time for.
Oh.
Was that the end of the story? Because
just
5 seconds.
Okay. Yes, it is. And so anyway, that touched me very deeply, and I wanted to say that those are the people that I want to help in the state of Oregon.
Thank you very much. This has been the Video Voters Guide. Thank you for watching. The primary election is Tuesday, May 19th. Be sure to inform yourself about the candidates and the ballot measures and exercise your right to vote.